Welcome back to CryptosRus. I am George. We're all George. Well, the SEC, they're scaling back their anti-crypto unit. That's good. I talked about the new task force led by Hester Pierce. This is a new task force that's trying to come up with a new framework, how to categorize crypto and how to fairly govern the different types of crypto out there, because there are different types. Obviously, meme coins are different than Bitcoin, and staking is different than mining. There's a lot of things that they need to categorize. So while they're doing that, they're scaling back their lawsuits, their litigations, and their anti-crypto unit. So this is good. So we have this like grace period right now where you can just do whatever the hell you want. I'm just kidding about that. They are still paying attention, but it's good. You know, again, this is part of what is going to make this year great. Less American-based projects will be fearful. Because in the past, everyone is fearful about getting slapped with the Wells notice from the SEC, afraid that they're going to be sued. But this year, no longer. Unless you're really doing something wrong. But if you're a legit company, like Uniswap or Coinbase, you don't have to worry anymore. So that's good. Bitcoin ETF inflow started up again. On the 3rd, we had an outflow day, and then yesterday we had a massive inflow day that made up for it. So overall, I've been saying this, anyone that panic sells ends up buying back at a higher price. This goes for Wall Street too. I know most of you guys do not fall for the FUD, but maybe some of you guys do. Do not fall for it. Whenever things look bad and you're like, I gotta get out. Well, if you're playing with leverage and you need to get out, you need to get out. But if you're just a long-term holder, there is no point, because we will just recover and flip right back up. Okay, and anyone that panic sells, they're going to regret it and they're going to buy back at a higher price. It always happens. Even Wall Street, the people that sold their ETFs, now they have to buy back at a higher price. Why? Just a day later. Like, why? Why did you need to do that? You know, sir, it makes no sense whatsoever. But certainly there are a lot of people that don't do that. They continue to DCA. And when I say people, I mean countries and companies. So, you know, this global race, we know that America and this Bitcoin strategic reserve, that's coming. 200,000 Bitcoin per year for the next 5 years. That will be 5% of our overall supply, right? That's going to be huge. That's going to kick off sometime this year. I don't know when, but it's going to kick off, and that's going to kick off a global like competition, global Bitcoin accumulation war, basically. But there are some that started already. We know El Salvador is the first country that kicked things off. You know, they've been buying 1 Bitcoin per day. But they decided to break that rule. They purchased 12 in 1 day. So they're ramping up. And they're getting up there. They're getting close to $1 billion worth of Bitcoin just from DCAing. They are a very small country. They can't be, you know, buying like the US. They can't be buying like China or anywhere else. Right? They're a very small country, and in the past they're very dependent, and even today, they are dependent on IMF and the World Bank. But now more and more so, they're becoming less reliant. See, that's what Bitcoin does. It can even help countries break free of the chains, of the tyranny of the banks. It can do so for individuals. It could even do so for countries if you just believe and embrace And that's what President Bukele has done for years now, and it's really starting to pay off. And if he continues to do so over the next 10, 20 years, whatever stockpile is like close to like 400 million, getting close to 500 million soon. I mean, that may turn out to be 50 billion, 500 billion. It's going to start adding up very, very quickly. Hong Kong is also pushing for a Bitcoin reserve, but you know mainland China is going to do so. Once US implements it, China is going to do it. Whether they announce it or not, or maybe they've been doing it already, because they have a lot of miners too. Maybe they're just siphoning a little bit off of their miners. You know they are doing it. And Russia, they're probably doing it already because of all the sanctions. And all the other countries are going to be doing it. South Korea, they're big into crypto. Okay? They're going to be doing it. For sure. Japan, they're huge in crypto. They're going to be doing it. All these top tier countries around the world will be buying Bitcoin and other things. Look at this. Finance industry chief says South Korean elders needs Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. Well, you could argue they should just buy Bitcoin and Ethereum, but you know, the next best thing, ETFs, right? So you know, everyone's thinking about it. Everyone wants a piece. The global race is on. Everyone wants to get their share. Even Canada, soon to be the 51st state. BitDeer acquires the energy plan in Canada for 21.1 million. There's a lot of Bitcoin mining companies in Canada, and there's a lot of energy, cheap energy in Canada. So another reason for the U.S. to acquire Canada as the 51st state for Bitcoin mining. I'm just kidding about that. I'm just kidding. But, you know, still interesting to think about. Yeah, but as for mining, the hash rate continues to go up. You could see it never seems to come down anymore. It just continues to go up. The miners do not want to give up either. They're the ones that powering the network, and every single Bitcoin they get, they pretty much keep. Because why would they sell it? Look at the difficulty, and the hash rate just keeps on going up. It's getting more and more difficult to mine a Bitcoin. It is not getting any cheaper. It's only getting more expensive. So the miners are basically holding what they have. So again, everyone wants to get their piece. There's not enough to go around. So do the math. 98,000, 99,000, 100,000 Bitcoin is only the beginning. Soon we will be at 200,000, 500,000 Bitcoin. There are people that think we will hit 500,000 Bitcoin by the end of this year. I don't know if I'm that aggressive. I'd say we still maybe 200, 250,000, but there are some people that think that once the Bitcoin reserve gets implemented and the other countries start FOMOing, 500,000 is definitely within the realm of this year. That's still 5x from here for Bitcoin. And if that's a 5x for Bitcoin, what about like Solana and XRP and Sui and Chainlink and Avalanche? They're going to be seeing at least a 10x, 15x, 20x. It's going to be absolutely insane, just like what this is projecting. If we're moving the same way as the last cycle, there are still a lot of similarities. We're moving the same way. We're consolidating the same way. And we're going to break out the same way too.